Alright, I don't know where I left off, but everything is, for the most part, together. The only thing that's left off is the breather tube, because I'm going to take the transmission pan off, and we're going to change the filter. And then after that filter's changed, we can put new fluid in these and be on our way. So, to take this pan off, it's just a bunch of bolts. So I'm going to go take them off. Hooray! All the bolts out and the pan pulled out. Oh, I didn't have a gasket, I had RTV. That shit was stuck in there. I took a hammer and wedged it into the front between the exhaust pipe and used the back end as leverage to pry it forward. I didn't need any bolts to hold it in because the RTV held it in pretty well. But the pan is off, and I don't know what that weird shit is. That looks a little weird. It's like white goop. But the fluid color looks pretty nice. There's our filter. Looks like it's got a couple bolts that hold it on. So, pop them off. In the end. Alright. We can also see things a lot better now. That neutral safety start switch. You can see the inside of it now. You can see how it moves along that clicker or whatever. And it's connected to that. So I guess when you shift it, that'll move back and forth and that'll change the switch. Let's get on the other side and look at some of that cool stuff too. Alright, on the driver's side, there's a couple things. Let's see, the first one, that's that, the throttle valve connection. That's what I was talking about. It's connected to that thing right there, the pulley assembly. So that's why you can't pull that out. You'd have to disconnect it from inside the transmission, which is difficult, okay? I'm guessing these are shifting solenoids or something, since they're pretty close to where the shift linkage is. And they got lines. So cool. Alright, we're going to take that filter out, and we're going to clean up that pan, because that looks pretty nasty, okay? Alright, so here we are up top in the daylight. There's your drain plug, and I have two magnets. And the magnets are supposed to pick up metal shavings that slowly come off the transmission. It's supposed to help it not circulate through and fuck your transmission even more. And there's dipstick tube. I don't know if that comes out or not. Probably not. Okay, so I'm going to remove those magnets, clean them up real well, clean up this pan real well, probably give it a nice paint job. Just to show you guys what I've been doing. Nice and clean. It took a little while. So is the inside. So I'm going to give her a nice little coat of paint before I throw her back on. Alright, self-etching primer is completed. I put 2 coats on there. Now it's got to dry for half an hour, and then I can put the final coat on. I'm just going to use some standard Rust-Oleum proof anywhere stuff. But while that's drying, here's the transmission filter kit. Comes the filter and a gasket. Simple enough. So, I'm going to take advantage of that needing to dry by doing other things, like taking the old filter off and putting the new one on. And also, I have to scrape off all the old RTV gasket. That'll be fun. So this filter's held in with what looks like 3 bolts right there. Take them out, filter will drop. 4, I'm sorry, I'll just go back here. 4 bolts, filter drop, put the new one in. But the old one doesn't look that bad. Filter looks pretty good still. I don't know, I'll replace it because I'm here. Alright, you better have that catch pan ready. The second I took those bolts out, tons of fluid came pouring out of what was left in the filter. But that's the new versus the old. All this black stuff just rubs right off, so I don't know what the hell it is, whether it's just, I don't know. It's weird though. You can just sit here and go like this, and it's like, it just comes right off. So, guess I'll throw that new one in. But before I do that, I'll show you what it looks like underneath the filter. Complicated stuff. Interesting. Alright, new filter in place. That was pretty simple. I tightened them enough to be tight, but not so much it was going to break anything. So, new filter's on there. Now I just got to scrape off the old gasket, put that final coat of paint on there, and the oil pan is ready to go back on. Yay! Alright, update. So, pan is nice and painted now. I'll let it dry for an hour. Nice and black, beautiful. Magnets are cleaned and put back into the places that they belong. Pan looks nice and clean. Gasket is put on top of the pan. The one that I got, this one came from ATP. I read the back for a second, found out something really cool. On this gasket right here, you'll notice that there's 4 tabs, and the holes are smaller than all the other holes. This is to actually hold the bolt into place. So if you look, that bolt isn't coming out because it's held in place by that gasket. So it does 2 things. It holds the bolt and it also holds the gasket. So you can put the pan in there and the gasket will stay in place. I thought that was really fucking cool. Okay, so I'm going to put this thing in now. Yay. Oil pan is secured. Dipstick tube installed. Now for everyone's favorite part, putting the fluid in. So, you fill it up by putting the funnel in the dipstick tube. Fluids for an AW4 automatic transmission. There's a lot of people talking about this and that, fluids and what you're supposed to use. In the manual, like the actual Jeep owner's manual, it says Dexron 2. On the drain bolt on the transmission pan, it says Dexron 2. Obviously, they stopped making Dexron 2 a long time ago, and it's going to be pretty hard to find that. I've heard that Dexron 3 is really good. Dexron 6, some people like it, some people don't like it, because it's a little different. Like there's something different about it. And then there's also other brands like Dexmerc. All the Chrysler stuff that they're saying to say use ATF plus 4. If your transmission has been taking Dexron, do not, for the love of God, put in ATF plus 4. That'll kill your transmission. So don't listen to the newest Chrysler bulletins that say it's going to work, because it doesn't work. It's a different fluid. Completely different blend. So, I got a Dexmerc blend, and this is by Valvoline. It's a max life high mileage, and it's supposed to help rejuvenate oil seals and all that. It's really good for older transmissions. So, I'm going to use that. I bought 2 gallons. The transmission and the transfer case both take Dexron 2, according to the owner's manual. So, I bought 2 gallons. So, let's fill this thing up. So, here we are, back of the transfer case, and here we are. We have at the bottom, right here, our drain bolt. And up top, our fill bolt. I didn't realize how ungodly large they were, so I didn't quite have a socket to fit them. So I'm like, okay, what do I have? I have an adjustable crescent wrench, and the bottom one's easy to get to, as you can tell. The top one, not so much, because there's this fucking thing that sticks out, there's this fucking thing that gets in the way, and everything else makes it almost impossible to undo. Sprayed WD-40 on there to try and loosen up those seals. It didn't work. So, went over to a friend's house, got me a 30mm socket. Look at that fucking thing. That thing's bigger than my goddamn socket. So, we're gonna take this motherfucker off. Pain in the ass. Okay. Ugh. Always take the fill bolt out first. Because if you can't get the fill bolt, but you do get the drain bolt, then you'll have no fluid, and you also won't be able to fill it back up. Whee! Supposedly that's also Dexron 2. That doesn't look nearly as clean as the old fluid. Yum. Oh, alrighty then. Okay, so got a pump that installs right on top. Put the drain plug back in. Keep pumping until stuff runs out the top. And you know it's full. Make sure you do this on level ground. That's important for this.